Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and I'm here to talk about the Alien story. This episode forms a part of my series on all the lore and history of Elite Dangerous. The first encounters with what we now know to be the Thargoid Cyclops Interceptor occurred in January 3303. These brushes with alien life occurred initially within the Pleiades sector of space and involved pilots being pulled from hyperspace. After the interdiction, the Cyclops would use an EMP-like blast to power down the target vessel. Beyond this, however, the encounter was non-hostile, with the aliens seeming to scan the human ships and then simply leaving. It was to be many months before humanity saw anything further from the Thargoids, and during the time, discussions raged as to whether the alien species was hostile, with some elements of the galactic powers claiming that they didn't even exist despite evidence to the contrary. In June of 3303, however, pilots of the galaxy began to notice that the Thargoids were appearing near barnacle size. These appearances seemed to confirm the long-held belief that these organic structures and the Thargoids themselves were related. At these barnacle sites, the alien vessels would drop out of their hyperspace tunnels and appear high above a planetary surface, before then emitting an EMP blast that would disable any human technology within the area. Within moments, the alien ship would descend down and position themselves directly above a barnacle. Once positioned, the Thargoid engaged a beam-like prolonged energy blast aimed directly at the barnacle itself. In appearance, this beam was much like the one used to scan human vessels during the early hyperdictions. Here, however, down on the planetary surface, it was clear to see that the beam drew matter towards the Thargoid ship. In fact, any ground vehicle within range risked getting pulled into the beam. However, the beam itself did not cause any direct damage. Speculation then was rife as to the nature of these encounters, but many suspected that the aliens were gathering resources in some form from the barnacles. It's also worth noting that a number of commentators around the galaxy pointed out humans had been using weapons against the barnacles for well over a year, and that there was a possibility that this may be an issue for the Thargoids. These new planetary encounters with the alien species were again non-aggressive, and they soon drew a lot of attention, becoming somewhat of a tourist-like attraction. Pilots would travel from all over the galaxy to witness the event. However, a good number of these commanders were left to be disappointed, as the aliens only arrived in their own time and for their own reasons. This meant that many pilots would sit on the ground near a barnacle site for many hours without ever witnessing the event. Again, events surrounding the Thargoids dropped to a quiet background noise, and then in mid-3303 what appeared to be an alien planetary base was discovered. These structures were unlike anything ever seen before, appearing to be organic in nature and surrounded by yellow mist. From above, the structure had a spiral-like appearance with a spoke or arm-styled structures at the outer edges. At the centre of the base is what can only be described as an organic-like building that bore some similarities to the Thargoid barnacles. This structural similarity, along with the presence of some organic spires that can also be found at the barnacle sites, further strengthened the relationship between the Thargoids, these new bases, and the barnacles. Doors around the walls of this central building allowed access when carrying a Thargoid probe or a Thargoid scanner, then simply known as an unknown artifact. Moving around this alien site were small alien devices identified as scavengers, and to this day it's unknown if these are living creatures or simply caretaker-like machines. The scavengers would work together, seemingly removing a green substance that appeared in areas around the base. Generally peaceful, the scavengers would allow humans to move freely around the structural grounds. However, once attacked, the scavengers would retaliate. The interior of the Thargoid base contained a tunnel loop with antechambers to the exterior of the loop and a large central chamber to the interior of the tunnel loop. The antechambers contained a small machine which would deploy a device identified as the Unknown Link, later to be labelled as a Thargoid Link. This device was similar in size to the Thargoid probe and the Thargoid scanner. All three of these devices were required to activate a large machine within the base's central chamber. Once activated, the machine would display a beautiful spiral holographic pattern, later confirmed to be a Thargoid star map. The activation of the machine would also deliver an audio data package to nearby SRVs. The audio itself, when played, was unintelligible to humans. However, when a Thargoid link was carried into space and jettisoned, the link would respond to the audio and activate with a beam-like element that would point directly towards a remote location. It was soon discovered that the beam pointed towards further Thargoid bases. It was eventually discovered that the Thargoid machine had what appeared to be a secondary function. When the technology from another alien race known as the Guardians was placed into the machine, it would go into full offensive mode, exhibiting bright orange lights and a violent pulsing that was capable of destroying any nearby vehicles. Additionally, all scavengers within the immediate vicinity would turn hostile. This placed the first notion that the Thargoids and Guardians may not only have been aware of each other, but also possibly have been at war with one another. Occasionally, Thargoids would visit these bases and scan human SRVs. However, the alien ships still remained non-aggressive. By the third quarter of 3303, however, this all changed. The Thargoids at last attacked human ships. A Federation fleet containing 2 capital ships was completely disabled by what federal logs claimed to be Thargoids. Some claim this was a sign of pure aggressions on behalf of the Thargoids, whilst others believe this was mere retaliation upon humans for the constant harassment of Thargoid barnacles and bases. 3303 then was the year that humans once again came into contact with the Thargoids. Not only did this lead to monumental discoveries and great technological advancements, but by the end of the year it ultimately led to full-scale war. Check out my YouTube channel for further details on the alien story, and be sure to check back often for more lore-related videos. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.